Have you ever wondered that just a few tiny things on your everyday plate might be quietly affecting your prostate health? Not after just one meal, not even after a week, but little by little, silently, slowly, like a small stream eroding the stone, wearing down your well-being year after year. I once sat across from a 68-year-old man. He was slender, with thoughtful eyes and a gentle presence. He looked at me and said, "I don't understand. I don't eat anything unusual, but lately I've been waking up 3 or 4 times a night just to use the bathroom. I don't feel as strong as I used to. I get irritated easily, even with small things. Is it just old age catching up with me, doctor?" I looked at him and replied gently, "It's not old age that's making you weaker. It might be the things you're unknowingly putting into your body every single day. You see, there are things we often consider harmless. A morning cup of coffee, a dinner with a bit of grilled meat, or a small celebration with a few glasses of wine. But these very familiar things may be silently dragging down your prostate health without you ever realizing it. That's why today I want to invite you to sit down with me for a short but meaningful conversation that might just change the way you see your food. Together, we'll go through 9 everyday foods that, if you had known earlier, might have saved you from sleepless nights, those sudden urges to pee, or that mysterious fatigue that seems to creep in from nowhere. And before we begin, if this topic speaks to your experience, please hit the like button and subscribe so we can keep having these honest conversations more often. And if you've ever found yourself wondering, could the food I eat every day be quietly harming my prostate? I'd love for you to share that thought in the comments below. Because who knows, your story might just help someone else who's struggling with the same silent battle. 1. Saturated fats and trans fats. There's a cruel irony many older adults don't realize. The foods that give us the most comfort and pleasure are often the ones doing the most damage to our prostate health. Especially fried foods, pastries, and those oh-so-convenient packaged snacks, packed with saturated fats and trans fats. When we were younger, we could eat freely and not notice much consequence. But after 60, every meal becomes a silent vote cast for the quality of the life we still have ahead. I once asked a 72-year-old patient if he noticed any changes in his body after those weekend gatherings full of fried dishes. He paused, then sighed. "Come to think of it, after every one of those meals, I sleep poorly. I wake up to pee more often, and the tiredness seems to stay with me until the next morning." That wasn't a coincidence. That was his body speaking up. Many medical studies have confirmed the link between saturated fats and prostate conditions. A long-term study by the National Institutes of Health in the US found that men who consumed high levels of saturated fat had a significantly higher risk of dying from prostate cancer. These fats don't just trigger chronic inflammation, they also disrupt the balance of male hormones, a key factor in maintaining prostate health. Especially dangerous are trans fats, those artificial fats found in cookies, cakes, and processed foods. These are seen as accelerators of chronic inflammation, one of the leading culprits that worsen symptoms of BPH, benign prostatic hyperplasia. Foods like crispy fried chicken, buttery cookies, or golden French fries might bring a brief sense of joy, but over time they act like tiny drops of water, slowly eroding your prostate's strength, quietly and steadily. The good news is, switching to healthy fats, like omega-3s from salmon, flax seeds, walnuts, or cold-pressed olive oil, can make a real difference. These foods have been shown to naturally reduce inflammation, support hormone balance, and improve prostate function. So if you've ever noticed your body feeling heavier, waking up to pee more often, or sleeping less deeply after greasy meals, try paying closer attention. Sometimes just cutting back on that crunchy fried snack and choosing a gentle steamed fish dish instead can lift an invisible burden from your prostate. And if you've ever thought aging was the only reason your health was declining, remember this: what you eat every day might be playing a bigger role than you think. If this feels true for you, I invite you to leave a simple comment below. I will cut bad fats. Not only as a commitment to yourself, but as a way of showing others on this same path that they're not alone in trying to take better care of their health. 2. Salt. You might not have noticed it before, But just a pinch of salt sprinkled over your food could be the reason you're waking up more than usual during the night to use the bathroom. For older adults, especially those living with an enlarged prostate, this tiny detail is anything but small. Your body doesn't just run on age. It responds, sometimes delicately, to every flavor you introduce into it. I remember sitting with a gentleman in his mid-70s. His eyes looked weary after a restless night. He sighed and said, "All I did was sprinkle a little salt on my vegetables. But that night I kept waking up, going to the bathroom again and again. I woke up so tired I actually felt chilled." I stayed quiet, letting him finish. Then I gently said, "You know, salt may be small, but it has the power to make your body retain water, filling your bladder more than usual. And the price you pay is often a night without sleep." This isn't just anecdotal, it's been backed by science. A biopsy review published in the World Journal of Men's Health showed that men who consume more than 9.2 grams of salt per day experience significantly more nighttime urination and urinary urgency. Another respected source, Medical News Today, confirmed that a high-sodium diet worsens urinary symptoms in adults with benign prostatic hyperplasia, BPH. And in animal studies cited by the NCBI, excess salt led to inflammation, oxidative stress, and even caused the prostate to contract and swell, exacerbating BPH symptoms further. Salt doesn't just affect the prostate, it also disrupts blood pressure in the circulatory system. When the body retains too much water, pressure on the heart and blood vessels increases, and what began as simple nighttime urination can turn into a health risk with serious consequences for older adults. This is no longer just a minor issue. It's a chain reaction you can choose to break, starting today. Small actions, like avoiding added salt at the table or choosing fresh, minimally processed foods, can lead to big change. Fresh vegetables, clean meats, sprouted grains. Their natural sweetness often needs no added salt to satisfy your taste. In fact, a reverse tracking study showed that men who reduced their daily salt intake to below 9 grams reported clear improvement in LUTs. Lower urinary tract symptoms, including urgency, frequency, and nighttime urination. So just try this. Today, instead of adding salt, try a squeeze of lemon, a bit of fresh herb, or a drizzle of olive oil to awaken your taste buds. You might be surprised how much easier your night's sleep becomes. And if you've ever quietly told yourself, salt isn't that big of a deal, then I invite you to hit like, subscribe, and leave one simple sentence in the comments: "I will eat less salt," because sometimes it only takes one small shift to feel a world of difference, especially when the lights go out, and all you want is a peaceful night's rest. 3. Dairy and high-fat dairy products. Dairy is often praised as a rich source of calcium and protein for older adults, and rightfully so. But if you're regularly consuming whole milk, full-fat cheese, or ice cream, you may unknowingly be placing your prostate under silent attack. The truth is, the things we trust the most are sometimes the very things quietly working against us. I once sat beside a gentleman in his early 70s who had faithfully drunk whole milk every morning, believing it helped keep his bones strong. He calmly shared with me that over the past few months, despite his consistent routine, he'd been sleeping more restlessly, waking up more often to urinate, and even feeling a subtle, uncomfortable pressure in his lower abdomen. His eyes flickered with doubt as he asked, "Could milk really be the cause, doctor?" It's not just anecdotal. There's growing scientific evidence to back up this concern. A large-scale study published in the European Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that men who consumed high amounts of whole milk and full-fat cheese had a significantly higher risk of developing prostate enlargement and urinary tract issues than those who consumed little or none. Another study from Cancer Research UK, CRUK, noted that the hormones and saturated fats in dairy may increase levels of IGF-1, insulin-like growth factor 1, a hormone that stimulates prostate cell growth, increasing the likelihood of inflammation and enlargement. It feels almost unfair that something considered good for you could also become a hidden irritant. You choose milk to protect your bones, but you might unknowingly be making your urinary health harder to manage. For those over 65, with hormone levels fluctuating and urinary systems becoming more sensitive, Even small habits can lead to big changes in how your body responds. A practical solution lies in making smart substitutions. Instead of whole milk, try low-fat or skim milk. Instead of heavy processed cheeses, choose hard, low-fat varieties. Better yet, add in plant-based milks like soy or almond milk to diversify your nutrition. According to an analysis in the Journal of the American College of Nutrition, men who consumed low-fat or plant-based dairy products had lower IGF-1 levels and reported fewer urinary symptoms compared to those consuming high-fat dairy. If you've ever felt discomfort or noticed more frequent urination after drinking whole milk or indulging in rich cheese, leave a simple comment below. I'll try low-fat milk. It might be a small step, but by sharing your experience, you could be giving someone else the insight they need to make a change that improves their daily life. 4. Processed foods and refined sugar. Have you ever noticed how fast food, cookies, pastries, soda, or packaged snacks can give you that instant feeling of satisfaction? But beneath that sweet, convenient surface lies a quiet threat, not just to your waistline, but to your prostate and urinary health as well. These comfort foods often come with a hidden cost. I recall a man in his late 60s coming into my office, his eyes reflecting regret. "I used to think one bag of chips, one soda a day wouldn't hurt," he said. "But now I'm constantly rushing to the bathroom, my belly fat's growing, and I feel heavier every week." His story is what inspired me to explain more clearly how processed foods and refined sugars truly affect the body. According to nutrition experts, these foods are loaded with refined sugars, unhealthy fats, and additives, creating what's known as a caloric paradox: high in energy, but empty in nutrition. A review published in the World Journal of Men's Health confirmed that diets high in sugar and unhealthy fats not only trigger chronic inflammation, but are clearly linked to a higher risk of prostate enlargement. In the long-term PLCO trial, which followed over 20,000 men for nearly a decade, researchers found that those who consumed more sugary beverages had a 21% higher risk of developing prostate cancer compared to those who drank less. But the damage doesn't stop there. Processed foods also contribute to insulin resistance and belly fat, two key factors that put additional pressure on the bladder and prostate. A report from the International Journal of Prostate Health emphasized that weight gain, especially visceral fat, significantly increases the risk of BPH, benign prostatic hyperplasia, and the uncomfortable urinary symptoms that come with it. So how can we break free from the pull of processed convenience? The answer is simpler than it seems. Instead of prepackaged meals, opt for whole foods: brown rice, oats, fresh vegetables, berries, lean meats, and fish. These foods are rich in fiber, antioxidants, and essential nutrients that support the immune system, reduce inflammation, and help you manage your weight, exactly what your body needs at this stage of life. Here's a small challenge you can try. Over the next week, remove just one processed item from your daily routine and replace it with something whole, like a fresh salad or a crisp apple. Then pay attention. Does your sleep improve? Are your nighttime bathroom trips less frequent? Do you feel a little lighter in your body? If any of this rings true for you, I invite you to leave a short comment below. I will cut sugar and packaged foods, because together we can inspire a healthier way of eating and protect our prostate health for the long run. 5. Red meat, red meat. It's tied to so many cherished memories. Family dinners, holiday feasts, weekend cookouts, a symbol of warmth, tradition, and comfort. And yet, when it comes to protecting your prostate, red meat can quietly become a heavy price to pay. Not because every bite is dangerous, but because over time, our bodies change, and so does the way we react to what we eat. I remember speaking one evening with a man in his early 70s. He smiled as he shared, "I still enjoy burgers, steaks, even a sausage or two every week. But lately, after meals like that, I feel this pressure in my lower belly. Sometimes it even feels like I can't fully empty my bladder." His eyes were filled with curiosity and concern. That moment sparked the very conversation I want to share with you today. According to data published in the Journal of the American College of Nutrition, men who consumed around 120 grams of red meat daily, the size of a small steak, were about 25% more likely to develop prostate enlargement BPH than those who ate less. And a meta-analysis from Cancer Epidemiology, Biomarkers and Prevention found that processed red meats, like sausages and deli meats, were linked to a 30% higher risk of prostate cancer. So why does red meat have such a strong impact? Part of the reason lies in its high saturated fat content, but the greater concern is how meat is prepared. Cooking at high temperatures or processing meat can generate inflammatory compounds and oxidative stress, both of which may trigger abnormal growth in prostate cells. The World Health Organization, WHO, has even classified processed red meat as a probable carcinogen, ranking just below tobacco. That's not something we should take lightly. But here's the good news. You don't have to give up meat entirely. Instead of eating red meat regularly, try shifting toward healthier alternatives: chicken, fish, or plant-based proteins like soy, lentils, and green peas. In fact, a study published in the International Journal of Cancer found that men who followed a diet rich in plant-based proteins had lower PSA levels, a marker of prostate inflammation and cancer, compared to those who ate more red meat. If you still find yourself longing for a steak, let it be a treat, not a daily staple. And to feel the difference in your body, try gradually cutting back. Instead of every day, enjoy red meat just 2 to 3 times a week. Your body will respond. Your sleep may deepen, your bladder may become more cooperative, and your overall energy may improve in quiet but noticeable ways. If you've ever thought, "I need meat to feel full," I invite you to leave a short comment. I will cut back on red meat, because together we can shift toward eating in a way that truly supports a healthy, resilient prostate for the years ahead that still belong to us. 6. Alcohol. Alcohol has long been a source of joy during gatherings, a staple at weekend dinners and celebratory moments. For many, it feels almost essential to good company. But for those facing an enlarged prostate, every sip may carry a quiet warning. It's not that alcohol is the enemy, but each drop that enters your body can slowly create subtle, long-term changes you might not immediately notice. I once met a 68-year-old man who came to see me about frequent urination and nighttime urgency. He confessed that every evening after dinner, he'd enjoy a small glass of red wine to help him sleep. But over time, his urinary symptoms had become noticeably worse. After monitoring his habits and symptoms, it became clear that alcohol-induced dehydration was causing his urine to become more concentrated, putting stress on both his bladder and prostate. I looked at him and gently said, "It's not that we lose the ability to enjoy life after 60. It's that we have to start prioritizing our health in order to keep enjoying it for years to come." According to a study published in the Journal of Urology, alcohol increases dehydration and makes urine more concentrated, which can irritate the bladder and prostate, leading to more frequent urination, urgency, and nighttime awakenings, particularly in men with an enlarged prostate. Another review in prostate cancer and prostatic diseases reported that alcohol can impair liver function, a key organ in hormone regulation, disrupting testosterone balance, and worsening BPH symptoms like weak flow, urgency, and incomplete emptying. Alcohol's impact is twofold. It dehydrates the body and speeds up kidney filtration, while also disturbing the delicate hormonal balance that the prostate depends on. And after 65, when hormone regulation and circulatory function are more sensitive, even a single glass can have a bigger impact than it used to. That's why what starts as a minor inconvenience, waking up once to urinate, can gradually become a cascade of disrupted sleep and worsening urinary issues. That doesn't mean you have to give up alcohol completely. If an evening glass brings you comfort, keep it, but be mindful. Cut down the number of drinks, opt for wine instead of spirits, drink more slowly, and always pair it with plenty of water or herbal tea. A study from the National Institute on Alcohol Abuse and Alcoholism found that men who reduced their intake to under 14 units per week reported significantly fewer symptoms of nighttime urination and urgency. Sometimes the difference between a restless night and a peaceful one is just a decision to drink a little less. If you've ever found yourself thinking, "After drinking, I went to the bathroom more than usual last night," leave a short comment below. I will cut back on alcohol. Let's support each other in creating healthier habits, so that restful, uninterrupted nights become our new normal. 7. Caffeinated beverages. Morning coffee helps you feel alert. Afternoon tea brings a sense of calm. And those little energy drinks, they promise a quick fix for fatigue. But for older adults living with an enlarged prostate, caffeine might not be a friend. It may be a hidden enemy in disguise. That moment of mental clarity often comes at the cost of an overstimulated bladder, leaving restful sleep and peace of mind further and further out of reach. I still remember a patient in his late 60s who told me that even though he only drank 1 or 2 cups of coffee in the morning, by late afternoon he felt oddly restless, urinating frequently, and sometimes with sudden urgency. I gently asked, "Do you drink much water throughout the day?" He looked at me with eyes that were both sad and curious. That was our moment to begin exploring how caffeine subtly but powerfully affects the prostate. According to a study published in Bladder, caffeine acts as a diuretic, speeding up the body's detox process and producing more urine in a shorter amount of time. It also stimulates bladder muscles, creating a sudden feeling of urgency, even when the bladder isn't truly full. For men with BPH, this is particularly concerning as it leads to disrupted sleep, daytime fatigue, and an emotional toll that builds over time. What's more, a longitudinal study in the World Journal of Men's Health found that men who consumed more than 300 milligrams of caffeine per day, about 3 small cups of coffee, had twice the rate of nighttime urination compared to those who consumed little or no caffeine. This isn't just a personal preference. It's a pattern that can have long-term consequences for prostate health. So how can you still enjoy your daily ritual without sacrificing your sleep or well-being? The answer is simple. Gradually transition to lower caffeine or caffeine-free alternatives. Decaf coffee, herbal teas like chamomile or ginger, they can provide warmth and relaxation without irritating your bladder. In fact, studies from the National Center for Complementary and Integrative Health showed that individuals who replace caffeine with herbal teas reduce nighttime urination frequency by up to 70% in just 4 weeks. If you've ever thought, "Coffee only helps me," then try switching to herbal tea instead of your usual afternoon coffee for just 1 week. You might be surprised by how quickly your discomfort eases. And if this advice makes sense to you, I invite you to share in the comments below. I will cut back on coffee, because sometimes the path to peaceful nights begins with a gentler sip in a small step toward a healthier routine. 8. Spicy food spice. It's a bold flavor that awakens the senses, warms the body, and makes any meal more exciting. But for those over 65, especially men dealing with an enlarged prostate, spicy food can be a double-edged sword. It may bring pleasure in the moment, but shortly afterward, it often triggers bladder irritation, sudden urges to urinate, especially at night, stealing away your restful sleep. I remember a patient in his early 70s telling me that after just 1 spicy dinner, like hot pot or stir-fried chili dishes, he would wake up 2 or 3 times that night just to use the bathroom. He chuckled and said it was worth it because spice makes eating more fun. I gently asked, "But is that meal worth trading a good night's sleep for?" His eyes widened, and in that quiet pause, he saw the answer for himself. Research from the Mayo Clinic has shown that capsaicin, the compound that gives chili peppers their heat, can irritate the bladder, causing symptoms like urgency and frequent urination, particularly in men with BPH. A study published in the Journal of Urology went even further, showing that this irritation isn't just a sensation. It increases inflammation in the bladder and prostate tissues, worsening the very condition many older men are already struggling to manage. This isn't just a personal sensitivity. It's a biological reaction to capsaicin. When your body reacts, it's often obvious. Increased urgency, disrupted sleep, and sometimes even a mild burning sensation at the start of urination. Even if all you added was a little spice to your meal. For those who've experienced it, waking up repeatedly at night isn't just about lost sleep. It's your body trying to say something. So how do you strike a balance between flavor and health? The answer isn't to avoid spice altogether. It's to reduce the amount of capsaicin your body has to handle. Instead of hot red chili peppers, try sweet bell peppers. Use flavorful herbs and spices like garlic, turmeric, or mugwort to bring warmth and richness to your food without irritating your system. You can also choose mildly spiced dishes and observe how your body responds after each meal. In a clinical trial reported by the National Library of Medicine, participants who reduced their capsaicin intake experienced up to a 40% decrease in urinary urgency after just 2 weeks of dietary adjustment. That means you don't have to give up the foods you love. You simply need to find your personal safe spice zone. If you've ever lost a night of sleep or been woken up by bladder urgency after a spicy meal, I invite you to leave a comment. I'll ease up on spice tonight. Let's learn to listen to our bodies and create nights of peace, undisturbed by urgency, one gentle meal at a time. 9 foods that support prostate health. If the previous 8 sections were gentle warnings about what to avoid, then this one is a beam of hope, a reminder that there are still plenty of delicious, powerful choices you can make to nourish and protect your prostate. After age 60, every decision at the dinner table becomes more than just a matter of taste. It becomes a quiet investment in your health, your comfort, and the life you want to keep living. I often tell my patients a simple truth: eat as if you're caring for your prostate every single day. And it's remarkable. Just a few small changes can create a ripple effect your whole body will feel. Let's start with something familiar: tomatoes. They're in nearly every kitchen, but inside each tomato is lycopene, a powerful antioxidant that has been shown in multiple studies to lower the risk of prostate cancer and slow the progression of BPH. In fact, a meta-analysis published in the Journal of the National Cancer Institute found that men who regularly ate tomatoes had a 20 to 30% reduced risk of developing prostate cancer compared to those who didn't. Next, consider fatty fish like salmon, mackerel, and sardines. These are rich in omega-3 fatty acids, which are known to reduce inflammation, regulate hormones, and improve blood circulation, taking pressure off the prostate. According to Harvard Health, men who ate omega-3 rich fish at least twice a week reported noticeably improved urinary symptoms within just 3 months. And then there are berries: blueberries, raspberries, strawberries, loaded with polyphenols, natural compounds that fight inflammation, support detoxification, and boost your immune system. A single serving of berries a day not only aids digestion, but also helps soothe irritated tissues in the prostate region. Don't forget cruciferous vegetables like cauliflower, broccoli, and kale. These aren't just high in fiber, they're also rich in sulforaphane, a compound that helps detox cells and reduce abnormal cell growth. And finally, flax seeds, walnuts, and pumpkin seeds may be small, but they're nutritional powerhouses, offering healthy fats, zinc, and magnesium, 3 key elements that support strong, healthy prostate function. Food is more than fuel. It's a message you send to your body every single day. Let each meal be your quiet way of saying, "I'm slowing down to live stronger." If you've been searching for foods that support your prostate health, leave a simple comment below. I choose to eat for my prostate health. Together we can share good habits and inspire others walking the same path toward better days, better nights, and a healthier future. In the end, what you take away from this journey isn't just a list of foods to avoid or ingredients to add to your meals. It's something deeper, a quiet awakening. The realization that health isn't something that simply happens with age. It's the result of the choices we make over and over every single day. After 60, your prostate isn't just a men's issue. It becomes a central part of your sleep, your daily comfort, your energy, and ultimately, your quality of life. So if there's one thing you remember from this video, let it be this: eat as if every meal is a way of caring for your future, because it is. Start with the smallest steps: cutting down on salt, limiting unhealthy fats, adding more greens to your plate. Those little changes aren't just dietary swaps. They're you rewriting a new chapter of health for your body, one meal at a time. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Which part of this video made you pause and reflect the most? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I truly look forward to reading your story, because your words may be the encouragement someone else needs on their own journey. Note: the insights shared in this video are based on trusted medical literature, but are not a substitute for personal medical advice. If you're experiencing serious prostate-related issues, please consult with a healthcare professional for the most appropriate care. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to explore the other videos appearing on your screen, or select one from the recommended section beside this one. You never know, that next video may be exactly what your health needs next. Thank you for staying with me until the very end. I'll see you in the next video, where we'll continue this path of living well, living deeply, and living fully, one day at a time.